Good blessed Wednesday, August the 25th, 2021. The time being about 6:56 a.m. I'd like to greet all human beings all around the world with a universal greetings of peace and the blessings of God be with you. It doesn't matter what your political, philosophical, personal, nor your religious beliefs may be. Doesn't matter whether you're the richest or the poorest person on the face of this earth. It doesn't matter even if you are the proclaimed toughest to the proclaimed weakest person on the face of this earth. It doesn't matter whether you're my family, friends, nor my proclaimed enemies. It doesn't matter if you're dark-skinned or light-skinned, black, white, or any other nationality or race. It doesn't matter whether even if you like me or not. I greet all of you all with that same universal greetings of peace and the blessings of God be with you. I want to talk about enough is enough. I want to talk about stop this black on black crime, black on black violence. It's going too far. And I want to tell all those that's reaching out to me from Carbondale, Illinois, I hear your voice. Those of you all that's reaching out for me in Chicago, Illinois, I hear your voice. Those of you all that's here in Charleston, Missouri, I hear your voice. First, what I want to say, something that Martin Luther King said, the measurement of a man is not moments, you see what I'm saying, of convenience. And when things is peaceful, but the ultimate measure of a man is when there's challenges and controversies. It's some controversies going on in Carbondale, Illinois. It's some controversies going on in Charleston, Missouri. It's some controversies going on in Chicago, Illinois, and a lot of other places. The reason why I named the 3 C's is solely because these 3 places I have a connection with. Chicago, I was born and raised on the near north side in Cabrini Green. The infamous housing projects, which they claim to be the most notorious and dangerous projects in the United States. God allowed me to survive it. God allowed a lot of us to survive it. But let me say this here. My other connection to Charleston, Missouri is I've been down here for 25 years fighting against corruption, cover-ups, racism, and blacks that's selling out blacks, other blacks. My connection to Carbondale, Illinois is my son decided that he wanted to stay in Carbondale, Illinois to try to change his life away, to get away from Chicago, just like this 18-year-old female from Chicago who wanted to get away. Her life was different than my son's. Her life was on a positive road. My son might have started on a positive road, went astray, and then came back after he seen the life that he was living. He wanted to change it, just like the female parents sent her from Chicago to Carbondale. And this is not bashing everybody in Carbondale, Illinois. This is not looking down on everybody in Carbondale, Illinois. But the female lost her life Sunday, August the 22nd, 2021. And all these people, now some of them were sincere. All these people is getting up in front of these mics, letting balloons and stuff go. But before this female was killed, God had already allowed these so-called leaders that's get in front of the mics when the big newspapers are around. He had already showed them it's blacks in Carbondale that's afraid. If they telling me about it, if they reaching out to me, why ain't they reaching out to the NAACP or some of them other leaders. You know why? Because they know these people is not doing nothing. You see, what y'all need to do, everybody that's reaching out, form you a group. But don't go out there busting windows and riding. That's what they want you to do. It'll throw the people off that's trying to help y'all. It'll throw them off seeing that y'all busting windows and riding because something happened in there that you don't like. That's what they want. When you break into their stores, they love it. You know why? Because if they didn't have but $100,000 worth of property, they'll claim that they had $500,000 or $600,000 worth of property. But let me just say this here. If them leaders was really about trying to stop this violence, now all of a sudden, I think yesterday they wanted to have a march or something, or some type of event talking about stopping the violence. The violence didn't start on August the 22nd. The violence didn't even start on March the 19th, 2021, when my son was found lynched. And ain't now one of them leaders today make 159 days. Ain't no newspaper in Southern Illinois picked it up. But you see, God allowed my son's life to be sacrificed up there for a reason. To show the people, to show the world that those so-called leaders in Carbondale, from the prosecuting attorney, the chief of police, the NAACP, the Southern newspaper, the Egyptian newspaper, and all them other black and white leaders there that claim to be leaders, it's showing you they choose who they gonna protest about. Do you think they really cared about George Floyd? Some of them might have did. Do you think they really cared about Breonna Taylor? Some of them did. But if they telling you that they marching to stop the violence, one thing they ain't mentioned about 4 people shot at 501 Cherry Street in Carbondale, Illinois on August the 22nd, 2021. No ambulance came at all, y'all. Damn time. But you see, they ain't gonna mention that. And then if they was really about trying to help everybody, see, my son, he was homeless. He was addicted to drugs. So to them leaders, he don't matter. If they say he matter, then let me tell you how I know he don't matter to them, the papers, or anybody else that I just named. He mattered to some people in Carbondale, because if he didn't, we wouldn't have no underground railroad exposing them people. Some people scared. But 159 days and they ain't mentioned my son's death damn time. And then my son's death started as a suicide. Now, when I brought attention to it, now all of a sudden it's called a death investigation. If it's a death investigation, listen to this, y'all. Death investigation. You want to try to get help from anybody that you can. They ain't asked the public for that. They asked the public for help with this young girl because what they trying to throw y'all off. You see, the police said that they resuscitated the young girl at the scene. Show you how they lie. I worked on ambulance. I taught EMT. I taught CPR. You don't do CPR on a live person. They want to make themselves look like heroes, and these black leaders is helping them. The newspaper is helping them. All the chief, Stan Reno, said his police, they put the female in the car after they resuscitation efforts failed. But see, God allow you to mess your head up. Chief Reno is the same one that said my son had a lot of demons in him. Then when my 16-year-old daughter challenged him on August the 10th, 2021 in Carbondale, Illinois at the city council meeting, she got up and spoke. My 16-year-old turned around and looked at him. She said, what you said about my brother having demons in him, it wasn't only unprofessional, but you disrespected our whole family. Then when that got into the news, then he called me and said, I didn't say he had demons in him. I said he was fighting a lot of demons. How you know what he was fighting? If he fighting a lot of demons, I'm fighting a lot of them too. I'm fighting against y'all. I'm fighting against the paper. Why y'all ain't mentioning my son death? 159 days. You said it's a death investigation. All you trying to do is make people think it ain't no violence happening there. Black folks in there in some of the parts of that town, they scared. If they wasn't, they wouldn't be giving me information. You see, I'm giving my information so everybody can hear both sides. You don't lay here and say you done tried resuscitation efforts. If you done started CPR as a police, you should have continued CPR until the ambulance came. Because once you got her in the car, what you do? Just let her lay up in there? Family of that young girl, investigate. Tell them to give you the timeline. They got a habit of putting certain times. If you started resuscitation efforts, put the time that you started it. When you decided to put her in your police car and take her and his 3 other people that were shot, and ain't no ambulance came and they took theyself, these people ain't right, y'all. These people ain't right. You wondering why, they get together because a lot of them is SIU students. The pathologist that did the autopsy on my son, a SIU graduate. You see what I'm saying? Birds of a feather flock together. If you saying it ain't no racism down there, all you got to do is look and see how many black police you got on the Carbondale Police Department. See how many times that the NAACP, the Carbondale students speak up about all this violence. They want to march now, some of them, if the shoe fit where, they want to march now because Chicago and everybody else looking. Why this girl come down here trying to get an education? She got to, some of them talking about, oh, she shouldn't have been at the party. She could be anywhere she want to be. She 18 years old. Why was all them white folks cleaning up that crime scene? Why, when I went over there and I talked to the white police, she wasn't a crime scene investigator. When I was talking to her about my son's hanging or lynching, look at the video. How she rudely walked off. And when I asked her, what's the status? She did like this here. In other words, that's another dead nigga. I'ma leave it at that, y'all. But don't trust them leaders in Carbondale, Illinois. Anytime they always on the news and marching and got these bullhorns talking about no justice, no peace, no racist police, and you don't see them no more after that until somebody else get in the news. People been getting shot. I don't know how many times, but you ain't seen them marching talking about to stop the violence. Look here, in that same area back in April, on that same block, 300 block of Cherry Street, same thing. Some people got shot at a house party in a vacant house. Police do the same thing. Get somebody's pickup truck. One of the police driving the pickup truck, and the other one put the individual in the bed of the truck and talking about he was doing CPR. And they chief said, oh, they did rescue. They did heroic efforts. And he say, well, even though it ain't protocol, it's a lot of things y'all do that ain't protocol. You want people to think y'all heroes. Y'all ain't no damn heroes. Y'all a bunch of Ku Klux Klans. Have black people like the NAACP united with y'all. Some of them SIU students and professors united with y'all. But y'all hung the wrong black man. I ain't gonna never shut up. When my voice shut up, I got a grandson, a great-grandson, daughters, nieces, nephews, friends. We gonna shut y'all down, Carbondale. Y'all need to get, anytime somebody gets shot, repeatedly like they getting shot in Carbondale, especially in the black neighborhood, I ain't never seen them mention ATF. You see what I'm saying? Alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. You see what I'm saying? They ain't gonna do that. Let a bunch of white folks get shot up in there. Let a bunch of people in the SIU, some of them professors getting shot up, or the police getting shot up, or the state's attorney's office getting shot up, or the NAACP. They ain't even got a headquarters, but go down to that Baptist church. If they get shot up, I bet you the ATF, FBI, and everybody else gonna be in there. But these some black people that's getting killed, and they don't give a damn. But y'all don't understand. They want y'all to go at me. Don't come at me. I'm a peaceful brother. But I will, at all costs and any means necessary, protect me and my 2 daughters from any harm. Peace be still. Help is on the way, Carbondale. Help is on the way, Chicago. Help is on the way, Charleston, Missouri. Help is on the way, everybody else in the United States, in these black neighborhoods that's going through the things that you're going through. Brothers and sisters, you know, I plead to you, my Christian brothers, my Muslim brothers, let's come together, Muslim brothers and sisters, let's come together to stop this black on black crime, because some of these law enforcement officials is contributing to it. They'll stop one individual and lock them up for drugs and guns and get drugs and guns to they black snitches. I done seen it happen here in Charleston, Missouri. I was attacked by a lot of them, but I stood my ground. All you got to do is watch my YouTube videos. Y'all wake up, man. Stop this black on black violence. My Muslim brothers, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My Christian brothers and sisters, peace and blessings of God be with you. Peace be still. Look at the ducks, y'all. You see them? See, anybody can join this here endeavor. If you have another nationality, you can easily join this endeavor. Because if you say you a Muslim is one who submit himself to God, not just to one nationality. Look at that. They joining together today, y'all. You see, a lot of people think that I'm a fool. A lot of people think that I'm crazy. But God didn't allow me to be on this earth for 6+ decades to be crazy. I can communicate with the animals. You see how they coming, y'all? They trying to show you the color shouldn't matter, but you know, we've been victims since 1619. The natives been victims since 1492 when Christopher Columbus came over here. He was a rapist and he was a robber. When they brought us over here in 1619 on the Mayflower, they did the same thing. And I'm not saying all white folks, but I'm going to tell you something. If people is for the cause, they going to stand up. If you ask the community for help for the shooting and killing of this 18-year-old female SIU student, because it's a it's a homicide investigation. My son's case is a death investigation. He been dead 159 days, and there ain't no newspaper in Southern Illinois or no news reporters, no leaders at all asking the community for help to try to find out who lynched my son. But you know, hey, I'm going to let you know this here. You're going to see one of the most biggest papers in the United States taking this story now, y'all. And it's going to make y'all look real bad. Just watch and see, y'all, as I watch and pray. Some of y'all don't know who I am. Some of y'all just look at me as being a black man that talk a lot of stuff. But one thing that I done did since God done brought me down to Southern Illinois, I stood my ground. I stood my ground against some of what they call the toughest. I encourage everybody under the 6 and 5, stop killing each other. Why are you killing each other? The police started killing us. Some of them is uneducated as far as saving lives. Here it is, the hospital. The ambulance service was 4 minutes away. 4 people shot, no ambulance showed up. Hospital 4 minutes away. Now, why was the ambulance? Why did they stop doing? If they resuscitation efforts failed, then that means the sister was dead. But yet in the newspaper, they got contradiction things. See, one thing about when you lie, you got to keep on lying. Either she died on the scene or she died in the hospital. You said that your resuscitation efforts failed. In other words, you couldn't bring her back alive. You couldn't get a heartbeat. So you put her in a police car. It'll be real hard in one of them SUVs or a police car for even one person to do CPR back there. You see what I'm saying? But then when she get to the hospital, you don't get a full sentence out, but you said she died at the hospital. You didn't say she died on arrival, but I know when y'all look at my YouTube, you're going to clean it up. See, on the ambulance, when you're in the medical field, you have certain codes that you say they died on arrival. If you're saying they died in the hospital, that means she was alive when she went in the hospital. But you got to be lying because she couldn't have been alive in the hospital when you said the resuscitation efforts failed at the scene of the crime. So you put her in the police car, making it look like you was a damn hero. You ain't no hero. That white police, that when I was talking about my son being hung, all you got to do is look and see what she think about black folks. Peace be still.